Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the second episode in the Aqeedah series. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise is due to Allah. Wa afdal salati wa tammu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barak sallam. And prayers and blessings, and the best of prayers and blessings be upon our Master Muhammad, our leader Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his family and his companions. And we begin. Sheikh Ahmad alMarzuki, the author of Aqeedah al Awaam, Masses Creed, continues. ثم الصلاة والسلام سرمدا على النبي خير من قد وحدا. Then peace and blessings perpetually be, continuously be, constantly be. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created Adam alayhi salam in the body form, we know that, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came last in terms of the body form from the prophets. But in terms of the ruh, the spirit form, the Prophet ﷺ was the first to be created before any other creation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending peace and blessings, as He also does, as we know, in Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He continuously sends, perpetually, without end, and it's sent even before him, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, coming in his body form and existing in the body form in terms of this life, because he was existing before in the ruh form. So Allah has been sending from, there's no concept of time, no place. Allah sends, simple, and that is upon his beloved Muhammad ﷺ. Al-Nabi, the Prophet, is referring to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Khair, the best of those who affirmed the oneness. All the prophets, that brotherhood of prophethood, that league of prophets, the Prophet was the best of those, and he was the one who was sent in the last. And alhamdulillah, we are from the ummah that although we were sent last, we were the first to enter Jannah, bi'idhnillah, by Allah's permission, insha'Allah. So it continues into the next part. وآله وصحبه ومن تبع سبيل دين الحق غير مبتدع. And upon his family, and we can be considered part of his family. The Prophet ﷺ was like a family figure a father figure to us, and he was the prophet of the prophets, leader of the prophets, as we know in the Isra and Mi'raj, the special night journey and ascent of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He was the Imam. Allah wanted to show He was the Imam when all the prophets Allah ever created were present in Masjid al-Aqsa to pray behind the Imam of the Imams. وَصَحْبِهِ, and his companions, 120,000 in number, approximate, equivalent to the number of prophets, 120,000 or so to some narration, but the real figure Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And his companions, those men and women around the messenger, may Allah be pleased with them, their efforts, their striving to keep Allah's name high, the words of Allah high, to preserve the book, the Quran, to live it, to practice it, that alhamdulillah, wherever we may be, from whatever nationality, alhamdulillah, we are Muslims, and this has come down to us because of their hard efforts and what they had to face in those early days of Islam, when it was going to be the toughest, when something like Islam was going to come through. Islam was a religion right from the start, from Adam and Islam, but then it was all kind of gone in a way. There were still people upon the truth in terms of believing in one God, but finally the messenger had to come to be the final messenger and seal that prophethood, that series of prophets. وَصَحْبِهِ وَمَنْ تَبِعْ, and whoever follows, those who follow, prayer and blessings be upon them, the way of the deen of haqq, the truth, the religion of truth, Islam, غَيْرَ مُبْتَدِعْ, without innovation. So innovation is something that can be good or bad. Innovation in the sense that author is implying is the one that we innovate in our deen, we bring something into the deen that's not what the Prophet ﷺ, nor his teachings, nor what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has requested us, has commanded us to do. Something new, something innovation into the religion that is not part of it. Innovation can be good as well, can be bad. It has all five rulings. Uh, it can be obligatory, and innovation can be sunnah. It can be permissible, mubah. It can be makruh, disliked. It can be recommended, sunnah recommended, and it can be haram. So the one it's referring to is the one that's haram, any kind of forbidden innovation into the deen. So this is the next two lines. So now we've looked at 4 verses from this this poem of Aqeedah al Awaam, and we're on the verge of going into uluhiyat, learning about Allah, about divinity, about God, and this is about knowing in terms of the point, in terms of the intellect about divinity, and knowing about it through a Sharia point of view about divinity, about God. And we can learn about attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We only know Allah through His attributes that He has told us about in His Quran, about the Prophet ﷺ, referring to Him as well. About Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His essence, that is where no mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created has any entrance into that. That is فوق خيال المتخيل, above the thought of the person who thinks. We cannot imagine that imagination. We cannot even comprehend and put anything together about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His essence. What we know is about His and the relationship in terms of Him, in terms of having an attribute, what that implies, what it does not imply. So that is what we're going to go into next. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like us. We can kind of imagine, we teach our children things and then they put relationships together and they understand things. We say a man, it's all about logic. We cannot even apply logic. It does not apply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot, if we say a man, we understand it's a person who is of the Bani Adam. He's from the children of Adam alayhi salam, and his features will be such, it will be from the male description, and he'll be able to walk. We'll understand that. Who needs to eat, who needs to drink. And then if we say a Muslim, we kind of piece, and then we know Muslim is about someone who adopts Islam as their religion, who believes in Allah as He should be believed, and in prophets, follows the way of the Prophet Muhammad. So a Muslim man, suddenly you form a, if you know that person, a Muslim man, you have belief that you know that he is on that religion of Islam, that and what their beliefs are. That is something we just believe in then. So we've put it together through singular items, and we kind of formed that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot put any kind of singular items together. There's no tasawwur, there's no visualization, there's no forming of anything. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we just believe. And when we go into this next part of uluhiyyat, we're gonna know about attributes of Allah. So from the point of an intellect, what is the obligatory attributes a God should have to be a God? What are the impossible attributes that there's no way they should have those attributes, because that means that they can't be a God if they have that attribute. So what are the impossible attributes for a God? What are the impossible possible? What are the allowed attributes as well? What is an attribute that a God should have? They're a God, they need that attribute. So through a point of the intellect, through a point of the Sharia, proofs from that as well, from both sides, we're gonna learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next episode. So we ask Allah to increase us in knowledge. We ask Allah to understand Him and His Prophet better, and the unseen, about those things that are going to come, which will be the third section. So uluhiyat, nubuwat, prophet, about Allah, about prophets, and about the unseen, the things that are going to come, and from this world to go into the unseen world. We inshallah, may we know about it so we can prepare for it, and we have full belief in it. So when matters of the heart, belief only enters once into your heart. Once beliefs enter into your heart, that's it. Now it's about it increases and decreases. It's all about your actions of the limbs. So we increase in good acts, increases us in iman. If we sin, it decreases. We go to a bad place. So we ask Allah to give us that good increase in our actions, that kind of in good acts that increase us in our beliefs, and we then be enlightened in our heart, and that That's where Iman is, in our heart. Islam is on our limbs, and all the actions we do for prayers and salah and for Hajj and for fasting and all the actions that we kind of do. And Iman is the heart, and then Ihsan is the last one, that that now entering the realm of conduct, etiquette, and having good adab about Allah, about the truth, about with others, with creation. That with Iman in our hearts and our limbs doing all the right actions, that will make that complete Muslim, mu'min, and muhsin. May Allah make us from them. Wa sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam.